Yeah, it was a very good purchase. But I would ask that you guys consider that. Greg Brown, Haverluck, we did have a rotted tree up on Holbrook Road. We had removed. That came out of our regular tree trimming budget. Our audit is the Kettle KBS is our audit. Town of Whitingham is for our trash, whole $6.
And $2,500 for the sidewalks.
$2,500 for the sidewalks.
They did an awesome job.
They did a fantastic job. Amazon, we had Ethernet splitters. So we had a big issue when we had our first outage here in the office. Our wireless internet did not come back on. And so we kind of had to do a crunch purchase and get Ethernet splitters. So just as a heads up on that, but luckily we have them now. They're all hooked up and it's working much more reliably than the wireless was anyway.
Yeah.
So that's that. So that's the cable clamps and all that stuff. Paper towels.
Internet splitters for after outages.
Yeah. We actually are using it all the time now because once you have them, that's a much more reliable connection than wireless anyway. We have for AMI on the front of the new smart meters, there's the barcodes. The barcodes are what reads the meter number. So you can see under the Amazon Capital Purchase Services, we spent $70 on a barcode scanner. That just makes it so that you don't have errors typing in numbers. I was looking for cheaper ones, and this was the one that was recommended, and it was the one we knew was going to work. I think for 1,000 of them, $70 is a well worthwhile purchase. On that, plastic seals, we also had to get new plastic seals for the meter sockets. Every meter socket's going to be cut open and put a new seal on it. And then some marking paint. In order 2 12-packs, so there's plenty of marking paint for us to do the underground stuff. Floor cleaning, twice a year we have our floors cleaned in here. He does a fantastic job. CED was just regular backfill of our equipment. FMBO, I can look it up. I don't have it right on me, but I can grab that really quick. Our dental insurance, vision insurance, DV fiber, you can see our DCU installation. That's actually being paid for by BEPSA. They've already gave us the ACH payment for that. So they're paying us for it, but we have to pay them back as part of the AMI project. So just a heads up, that will be something you have to pay for, but we got ACH for it already. Sidewalk cleaning. You can see we sent out $136. I sent the manager letter that I read today. That was included in the billing last month to all customers. And I think I've had 5 customers reach out to us and say, this is the first information we've ever received from Jacksonville that we thought was like really helpful and really
it was good.
I thought it was really, I've had really good feedback. I'm really excited this year. I think we did a good job.
Easily made.
Yes, exactly.
It wasn't like it had to get into another
I think it's
city.
important to reach out to the customers and, not just through a bill,
Right.
but every now and then give them more
Give them something.
information
Yep.
about what we're doing.
Yeah. I've been thinking when we send it, so when we do our rate case, we have to send what the state requires us to send. But I think my first year we did a letter to customers saying why we're doing the rate case. And I think that might be helpful for us to do again this year.
It'll save a lot of questions afterwards.
Yeah.
You can refer to it on the phone if there is.
Exactly. Yep.
I read somewhere that it said.
Right. Exactly. I think that's pretty much it. You want me to grab? Just grab it.
Garbage bill is $6 versus 40 something, isn't it?
2 punches on the punch card? Is
2
it?
punches. You know what? The big thing is recycling. We now split up recycling. Before you didn't split up recycling, so you had to go way more often.
Yeah.
I remember what each of them are. Usually I look them up before. So we had Vistaprint, two Vistaprints. One of them was when we go around and do our annual or do our underground locating, we discovered that we are not marking for people to call before they dig. On a lot of them, we had some of these that were printed and already were done, but we didn't have probably 3/4 of them had nothing.
So where do those
That's like,
go?
so these go on the conduit that goes into the ground and where
Okay.
it comes back into the transformer on the other side. So I ordered some of those because those were very much needed. I ordered 50 of them, I think it was. So that's one of the things from Vistaprint. Trying to think of what the other thing is. Oh, and the other one was our
Magnets?
no, these guys, the door hangers. This was the $89 one, the door hangers for our.
And that's when you put them on the doors.
Yeah, so this will be when we do our smart meter change outs the week before, we're gonna go just look everything over and just make sure we can do it. And we'll put the date that we're gonna do your change out next week. We'll put this on the door and those magnets we just ordered, we'll put the magnet on here too, so they can.
And it'll stick to that.
I'm gonna hot glue gun it.
Ah.
So. What else?
So that's all part of the FNBO.
Yep, that's on the FMBO. That'll be charged to AMI.
Okay.
Reception 24/7 is our normal. Give you a heads up, it's going to be higher next month for that one.
For what?
For the reception 24/7, the after hours calling. That'll be higher for next month because it's because of all the outages for GMP. That costs us money because they go over 25 minutes that we get paid for. UMA, and then these.
We can't build green on
That was what sparked me to go. Is there a way we can start making them have to pay for some of this? And that's it. Wrap up. Yeah.
Well, the last time I had lost outage, I called and it went directly to
Outage.
music. And then it came right to this man that said he was the outage thing. And I'm like, oh.
Who are you?
Who are you?
So that's we're trying to explain it to customers a little bit because our customers don't understand that either. The problem is we go out too. So when there's an outage, we can't answer the phones. And so that's been a challenge. We're on the schedule to get installation of that battery. I'm hoping I'm going to push for us to get pretty quickly put on that list, but they've already reached out and started that process. So, because that'll keep us up. So we'll be able to take calls, which will minimize that. You know, during hours, we can take the calls and handle it and just say, yep, we're aware, we're working on it.
Yeah, okay.
I'll make a motion that we approve the accounts payable.
Have a second or a second? All in favor? Everyone's
Aye.
aye. Anyone? Any no's? Did we lose?
I said I was muted.
Were we babbling too much?
Nope.
Okay.
My laptop died, so now I'm taking notes on my phone, which on the Teams meeting on my phone.
Oh dear. And I'll just keep this over here for when that goes.
What's that one?
This,
Oh, just the
Yeah.
the last page is going.
yeah. Alrighty, Laura's finishing her signature and now we are reviewing review and sign payroll.
Payroll was once again 4 weeks. Nothing out of the ordinary. We're at $17,110.45.
Did Amanda show you my note from yesterday?
Yes, I'm that's gonna get rectified. You want that to just be bumped out.
Just 20,
Just keep
120.
yeah. I'm sorry, I completely missed that. I don't know what was on my radar.
Yeah, so that's.
Yeah.
For payable this month would be for April
It's
and
May,
May.
regular meeting in April,
Yeah,
regular
so
meeting.
that's,
And then the May.
I mean, I can wait a month.
Yeah.
But if we want to stay on schedule.
Yep.
That would be good, so.
Yeah.
Is
I'll get it on for next week,
For when?
next week.
Next week, so then it will
It'll be payroll 24, so it'll be on next month's payroll.
Oh, I see how that chart goes.
Yep.
So it's gonna be in July.
It'll be on the July warrant, but it'll be next week.
I just know when to need to
You'll
check
actually get the money next week,
next week, so that's what I need
but
to
you won't,
write
you won't
down.
approve it in the warrant until next meeting. But you'll get paid in the meantime.
Right, but I just need a date so I can check. I always check my
It'll
balance
be on
like
Tuesday
every
next week, whatever.
Tuesday of next week, so the 16th.
Yeah.
Thank you. Sorry to be difficult.
No,
I make a motion that we approve the payroll warrant.
I second that. That was Jennifer Tyler.
Yep.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. What
Wow.
is, what is, oh,
That's
this
what's
is
the
the signature.
Yep.
Sorry.
6/16.
Now. Managers report.
Before I start the manager's report, just a couple of quick updates that are not on here. The first is, just be aware that Richard is out sick. So I have the wonderful duty of doing meter readings this month. So I am not in the office much this week, just as a heads up on that. Amanda is actually out, went tomorrow afternoon through the rest of the week. I will need to close the office in order to get
Because
meter
her
readings done.
daughter's graduating.
Because her
She's
daughter's graduating. So just as a heads up, the office is just going to be closed because we have to get the meter readings done because Tuesday, the 16th is when we have to send out bills. So just be aware of that. And then the other thing is, as I was doing the meter reading on Monday, I was going up Amy Myers Delaney's driveway, which is a big steep driveway. And I made it about halfway up and the red truck just died. I restarted it after several attempts, got it back down to the office. The coolant was really low. I added coolant from the garage. And then I went to try to read another meter and it stalled 3 times. So I got, this was Monday. So Rod helped me get it up to Fuller's. It's at Fuller's right now. I haven't heard anything, but I just figured I'd give you guys a heads up. I have no idea what to expect on that. So I figured Richard's out sick, so the red truck didn't feel comfortable with me, and so it just needed to take a break too. So I am using my personal truck. I don't have an alternative, quite frankly. So I'm not thrilled about it, but it is what it is. So those are my updates that are not on the manager's report. 2025 update, rate case update. We're still waiting the PUC approval for a 2025 rate case. This has a potential to run into some problems. If we have 2 rate cases at the same time, we have the potential to have the surcharge on the bill. We don't have a way to list 2 separate surcharges. So we may need to compound that into one large surcharge, which we're still working through with the billing company. There's a huge potential to cause a lot of issues. I'm just keeping my fingers crossed the PUC will make their order and be done by July 1st, but we'll see. We have filed for 17.72% rate increase effective July 7th, 2026. The first bills to reflect this will go out on August 16th, 2026. Later in the meeting, you'll sign a board authorization to file for this rate case, but it's already been voted on and approved. AMI update, our first 2 test meters are in, they're on this building. There are lots of details that we're working through. I got an email today about it. Kind of worked all weekend on getting those details sorted out. Just little things like this is in the wrong column and this, just making sure the computers are talking to each other is really what it's working through. We're hoping to place a few more test meters this week. I think I have 5 scheduled for this week, but it's going to depend on Richard and what he can do. I'm expecting the last of our meters to arrive shortly. They are shipping right now, so we should have them shortly. And my goal is to have our goal, Richard, my goal is to have all meters installed by the end of September. And I think that's realistic. We're planning to do about 100 a week. 2026 tree trimming, no major updates. Trevor was working. Go ahead.
You were about to probably say, I just, it says no major updates, but I kind of wanted an update. Like, where is he?
So
And what's
he's,
he doing?
yep. So he's on Route 100 now. So he was paused.
What part of it?
He's just above the water tank.
Yeah, the watering tub
Going back through and chipping.
and upper cutting. So essentially he went through and cut the lower cuts while I was waiting, but he wanted to organize it so he could get traffic. At the same time, he's there with his full crew to just go through and do the upper and lower and just get it all done and chip it and everything. And so that's been a little bit of a task to try to align everything at the same time. He was supposed to do it this week. I think he is doing it this week, but the traffic backed out yesterday. They sent him a text yesterday saying they had an injury from one of their employees and they're not sure if they'll be able to help. But he said he was working on it today, so I assume he had some backup he was able to get.
You need enough people to do it.
But I did message him, just so you're aware, I did message him because there's been a few comments about the chipping and not having everything chipped up
But
in that
you
area.
explained it before.
Yeah. And I did say by Old Home Week, like the week of Old
Please.
Home Week, I don't want anything unchipped. Just get it all chipped for that week. So just as a heads up, and he said that was fine. Just a heads up, I don't want
He had
anybody.
steps or protocol that he was going.
Yeah, he was trying to do it so that he'd get everything cut so he can chip everything the next step, but now he has his full crew. So now I think he's just going through and doing it all just this week to get Route 100 done.
He had a couple of people way up on the bank.
Yes, yeah. It's quite a project to get that
It
bank
is.
cut.
It is.
I don't know if you've ever walked it, but it is big and steep
Yeah,
bank. It is it's pretty
it's
intense.
a big area.
It's a big
Yeah,
area.
It's like a big gut that keeps
Yeah.
cutting in there.
And if you're up there, you're only like 10 feet from the power line. Like you're really not far up there. You're not far from it. It's pretty scary. So 2026 audit. The audit is finalized. Kenny, Laura, and John all gave me go ahead to finalize so that we can print them for our annual reports with the numbers. There'll be a formal vote and signing tonight later in the meeting. I did include that. I hope I did. Battery storage. We're now using the transfer station as a possible primary location for our battery. The engineers looked into doing it at the Whitingham sewer. They're concerned about the floodplains and the areas of how far back you have to be from the floodplain. And so the transfer station was considered one of the another good primary site. One thing that's nice about the transfer station is we actually may be eligible for some grant funding because we're using it's not actually a Brown site, but we're reusing a transfer station site for something energy efficient. So there's a potential for some
Easily
grant,
accessible.
and it's super easily accessible. There's already 3 phase up into the transfer station. The big catch is I have to talk to the town. I have to talk to the town and get the town to approve it, or at least approved for us to consider it. So I wanted to talk to them tomorrow night, but they canceled the meeting tomorrow night. So I'm on the agenda for the 24th of June to go and talk to them. They are looking to do an on-site. The engineer is looking to do an on-site to figure out where at the transfer station would make sense. So just as a heads up, that should be coming.
Do they have to wait for an approval before they go up, or do they just take a
We may take a little walk.
little
up there.
sneaky peek?
I'm thinking I may need to talk to Stanley in advance and just make him aware. Everybody's aware that we're talking about it at the select board. I mean, I made them aware when I was on the board.
Yeah, it'd be nice to go to the selectmen's meeting with a few more facts. When
Exactly.
Here.
Yeah. But it'd be nice to at least get Stanley to say, yeah, we can go up there and look.
Yeah.
To make, to put a proposal together.
Yeah.
But that's kind of where we're thinking right now. And the other thing was there might be some funding being the school is so close. That was the other thing that they were saying. There might be some options for funding.
What's the size space.
physical footprint. It's
Yeah.
about a shipping container. So 40 by 80 or whatever they are. So it's not huge. I mean, it's a
Yeah.
Connex box. That's what I was thinking, Connex box size. And it's pretty much, that's what it looks like, is a Connex box.
Okay.
It's all self-contained. Yeah, we're pretty small. Usually they put those next to each other and we only need one.
Yeah. Good grant.
Grid grant. We're still waiting for approval to include my time in the RFP build and the grant for the grant match and kind of through the whole process of awarding the bid. So we're kind of on hold for that. I mean, I have it mostly done, but we need to backfill that. However, we do have the grant agreement. It's with the VEPSA attorneys reviewing it. A question I had for you guys, I don't think we need our own attorney to approve it. We have a VEPSA attorney looking at it. But I did want to just ask if you guys wanted us to spend the money to have Bob Fisher look at it. I don't see why we need that, but I just wanted to make sure you're okay with it.
Seems unnecessary.
Yeah.
Okay. I will be seeking the authority to sign that contract later in the meeting. And I have a copy here. I think I included a copy in your packets, actually. Department of Public Service utility review. Copy of the assessment is in your packets. Overall, it's pretty good. They're making some slight changes based on feedback from FEPSA. For example, they use the S&P model for what makes a viable business. And BEPSA is arguing that S&P does corporations and not
What's
nonprofits.
S&P?
Standards and Poor's.
Oh, okay,
Yes, true S&P. Yeah.
okay.
So they're actually, BEPSA is arguing that that's not a good, that they do corporations. S&P
Yeah.
is very good at corporations. They don't do nonprofits and municipalities, where Moody's does nonprofits and municipalities. So they're saying it's a better model to use as the Moody's model. So there's a few things we're expecting to see changed. Essentially GMP uses S&P, so that's why they went with S&P,
yeah.
but that's not relevant for municipals. And there's some differences in what they think you should have for cash on hand and whether you can include lines of credit or not in that calculation is the big differences. For Jacksonville, the overall read was that they want us to invest in more capital project using lending sources. So essentially they want us to borrow more money for capital.
Lending or
improvements.
leading?
Lending, yep. Okay, that's all we have tonight.
You might as well do doing as well.
Where is that?
I'm glad I was reading along.
Battery storage.
Yep. Lending sources. So essentially they want us to borrow money to improve capital. I think we're actually in a pretty good position. I think our accounting just doesn't reflect it yet. So AMI is a good example of this. We borrow money through VEPSA. That's not on our books. That's a good example of where we've invested in capital, but it's not showing on our books yet. And so that's something we're trying to figure out how VEPSA lending can translate to us on our depreciation schedule, which we'll get figured out, but it's just not there yet. Another thing is that Pam used to depreciate our assets. Anytime we did line extensions, things like that was depreciated. When Pam left, it really wasn't getting done. It wasn't being recorded correctly. When we did line extension for this person, it didn't go into our auditor as this person got this line extension. So there's actually a pretty good gap of time where we didn't have depreciation. And we're starting to get back there. Last year we did about $100,000 worth of depreciation. So as we continue to kind of do that, we're going to build our capital investment that we're doing. So I'm not too worried about it. It's just that's something they're calling out specifically. We're expecting a more formal and possibly utility specific presentation in the coming weeks.
I thought it was pretty interesting.
It is. It's
Reading through those slides, you know.
well, and it's interesting to look at what some of the. I mean, even GMP
Yeah.
has less than 30 days on hand.
Yeah.
Capital. That's pretty.
Yeah.
You know, I think the expectation was from the Department of Public Service that GMP was going to stand out as this great utility, and all of us were all going to you see our progress. And really, when you look at it, the numbers just aren't there.
Marshall Stowe looks pretty good.
Yeah, Stowe always looks good. Stowe always looks good. Club though should look like Stowe too, but it doesn't. But anyway. Trouble calls this month. Fowler Road, we had a caller state no power. Upon arrival, the lightning arrestor on the pole had blown. There was no lightning, so we're not sure what caused that. It's a pole that we've had squirrel issues with quite a bit. Even with the squirrel guard, there's still issues with girls, so I'm guessing it might be related to that. So Rod was able to get him up and running, and we were able to handle it in-house.
I don't understand what that sentence, we were able to, refuse.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry,
Yeah, not refuse, but
Okay.
hyphen fuse.
Should be a hyphen. Okay.
The 26th, the 20th, and the 2nd of June, there were grid-wide outages from GMP feeder line due to construction in Wilmington. I did speak to the GMP OS in Wilmington about this. He said they're almost done with the work on our recloser side of town. However, they're about to start work on the center of Wilmington, which will take out the entire substation if there's an issue. The good news about that is it means they're going to be much more careful because they don't want their whole grid to go down either. The bad side is it might mean that there's still issues coming. I've asked VEPSA about how we should handle reporting this to the state. I don't know if you know or not, but essentially our reports that we do at the end of the year, GMP currently does them for us because they've handled our outages in the past. Last year, there was a little bit of a dispute between me and the person who does these reports for us about whether an outage was our outage or whether it was GMP feeder line outage. So this year, I'm hoping to pull that report in-house so that we can, because we track it, I think, a lot better than they do. So that's something we're looking into, kind of how we identify that to the state as the feeder went out, it's not us. Don't take it out on us. On May 24th, Houghton Road, customer called GMP directly for no power. GMP responded and found that the breakers were turned off. This was a Memorial Day weekend, so it was double time for two guys at a minimum of 3 hours. My estimate for this outage is about 2,000. It's actually like 2,400.
You mean the breakers in the house are off?
It's a camp. It's a camper. There's a main breaker to turn the power on, and they didn't turn that on. It was the son of the owner that was there, and he didn't know he had to turn the main breaker on, so he called GMP. So hence why we ordered magnets to make it so that it was literally because of that outage that we got the magnets, because I said $150 for magnets is a whole lot better than a $2,000 GMP call.
so that was what it would cost, about 2,000, or did you say?
I think it's between 2,000 and 2,400 is my guess. We'll find out when they send us the bill, but it's a double time because it's a Memorial Day weekend. The only reason we found out about it was because Rod's grandson was on the call and told him, or grandson-in-law, and told him that they were out on Houghton Road. And Rod's like, we haven't got an outage, have we? So I spoke with the customer about it. He said his son was there, and he would make sure his son knows to call us directly in the future.
Wow.
So that's a great example of why.
Maybe you ought to send him a copy of the bill.
Yeah.
So that's the thought is, now that we're doing the magnets going forward, this is kind of their one warning, because what I've been doing is calling people and saying, just so you know, if you call Green Mountain Power next time, you'll get a bill. It's been long enough, I think, at this point. We do actually have the right to send them a bill if they call Green Mountain Power and it's not an outage. So we have the right to actually send them.
Really understand why they're responding and why they're not saying that's not our territory. I know you're going to tell us why, but.
So I said the same thing. And I scheduled a meeting with the operations center, so essentially the call center at GMP. I scheduled a meeting to just say, can you just say if it's a Jacksonville customer, you're not our customer. Don't take the call. And I said, and then if we call from our office, we'll then take it. I wound up being a vice president at GMP who that got forwarded to, that meeting invite, and made it very clear without saying it directly, that if we want them to not, if they want us to continue to respond to outage calls for us, then they need to be able to take calls as well. Because they're not going to decipher between whether they're a customer or an employee. It was very much a power push. It was like very, very much. It was kind of a shut up and take it conversation. So there is a conversation that is probably eventually going to happen at a higher level with Ken Nolan and Mary McClure about this, because this is clearly a power push issue. And it's really not appropriate.
And
And
this,
but it really has
Did
to
this-
go to that high level at this point.
was it like this when we had linemen before?
I'm not
Can
convinced.
we,
Like Lee Kingsley.
when
and-
Lee was
It
here,
was different though, because it wasn't.
and then we took on Green Mountain Power,
Right.
and is it like, oh, we had them, we don't want to let them go, we had,
It
Is it-
was Vermont Electric Co-op at the time.
yeah,
So that's the first thing, is Vermont Electric Co-op and Green
Yeah.
Mountain Power are way different. The other thing is a lot of the guys that worked for Vermont Electric Co-op went through here. They
Yeah.
were our linemen. They knew our
Mhm.
grid. They knew what was going on, and it was just a whole different electrical world. Is my understanding. It was before me, so I don't know, but that's my understanding. Rod and Dale all kind of say it's just these are young kids and all they care about is making money, and their primary goal. They love outages like this. They don't do anything.
Absolutely.
They just made a ton of money.
Yeah.
They don't cut the tree when they drive by it and see a tree on the line. So I think this is
You're
really
not
just
proactive at all.
right. And so I think I think GMP's not happy that we're taking some of the, we're taking some of it back.
Yeah.
And ultimately I don't think it's just like, it's just like our 30-day plus receivables. We're never going to get it to zero.
Yeah.
But if we can keep working on it and get it down, hopefully 1 or 2 a year.
Now, if this were a private world,
Oh, yeah.
excuse me, it'd be lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing, is they have us in a position where we can't hire somebody else.
Yeah.
There's no other person. And then it would look really bad for GMP to say they're not going to service us anymore. But if we go in and say, we don't want you to take our calls, then they can say, well, they don't want us to take calls. We're not going to be able to do the outages. So I think it's kind of that's why I had the conversation. It was clear what I heard. And I said, I need to back off on this conversation. Rod does not want me to, but we need to back off to some degree. It needs to go to higher politics than being in Jacksonville.
So you think Ken Nolan would help guide you with that?
I think Ken Nolan will take it.
take it.
Mhm.
Because he and Mary McClure, who is the CEO of Green Mountain Power, have a good working relationship. And his belief is that Mary McClure would not be happy hearing what the conversation was. That's something that's happening between a high up, unfortunately, and
So Rod is saying, keep pushing.
is quite frankly what
Okay,
anyway.
so we have that, update. No, we have
Line extensions, just waiting on electrician for Mary Fields. I don't know if that's gonna have, it's a solar one. I don't know if it's gonna happen or not. Kent Field Road, we do have a new house going on Kent Field Road that is doing underground. The payment has been sent and we will begin work shortly. We're waiting on a easement right now. VEPS update. You're Vermont Transco. We have, I think it was last meeting, we signed our 2025 Vermont Transco purchase. I think it was. That was deferred for 2 years, for a year. So just as a heads up, that's what we just did. We now have a new Vermont Transco, which is our 2026 subscription, that we need to approve. We'll need a vote to sign that contract later in this meeting. Jacksonville share is $61,750. VEPSA will purchase this on our behalf and finance it. Essentially, what happens is when they pay dividends, VEPSA takes those dividends and pays down the loan. And in exchange, we receive some of that ownership share until it's paid off. So it's nothing coming directly out of our bank account to buy these Vermont Transco shares. We have a guaranteed rate of return of about 95% on any Vermont Transco purchase. So we all kind of say, as the general managers, this is essentially a guaranteed payment to us. So this is something we definitely want to do. And this is essentially Belco ownership is what this is doing for us. More on a separate Vermont Transco equity coming into executive session, which is a crazy one, but still where it is. One major piece of legislation that was passed this year is a bill allowing portable solar, which essentially just means if you have a solar array, you can plug it into an outlet there and it'll start sending back to the grid and feeding your house and everything. We expect the result to cause essentially longer outages, because what's going to happen is we're going to have to go check if there's a backfeed in the system anywhere along the way. So if we have an outage on 8A, we have to go through every 8A property and make sure there's no backfeed into line, or essentially treat every line as hot. We're not sure what that's.
Do people have to notify you if they're using it? No.
And you could do it. Someone could come in, your daughter could come visit you and plug it in and just use it for that amount of time and leave. And campers, there's no regulation on it. But
Is there a way for the town, and I don't know if it's like I don't understand charters and ordinances really well. So is it a change that would need to be made in order for it to be added as a zoning permit?
I have
I
to
mean,
look at
it's
what
defeating kind of the purpose for what it was
Yeah.
to assist people with their electric bill.
right.
But it would be a way to track it if that would be
Correct.
helpful.
I'm not sure if the legislation would allow it.
Yeah,
Would be the first question. We could in theory do that, but we could only do it within the village of Jacksonville. Town of Whitingham would have to do it for the entire town.
correct.
Unless, even a charter change wouldn't. We could only affect our customers with our ordinance. We'd have to expand it.
But we have permitting in the town of Whitingham. So the town of Whitingham
Build
could,
no, because solar's not regulated. We don't, if you want to put solar at your house, you don't need to get a building permit to do it.
and that's
Because the state,
because the state,
because the state regulates it.
yeah, okay.
There was a big issue.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember, there was a big issue last year
Okay.
with a person who they thought, the neighbor thought they needed to get a building
Okay,
permit,
okay.
and the town of Whitingham said, don't regulate it. It's
Yeah.
not us.
Yeah, okay. All right, well, that was.
Yeah, I'm not, and it's, the problem is it's not permanent. It's temporary. It's literally,
Yeah.
they fold in half
Yeah.
and you couldn't even regulate it. Technically, there's nothing right now that's available in the UL listing market that would actually fit the criteria that Vermont created. But now that Vermont's created the law, there will be probably in the next month something that's available. But just as a heads up, that's coming. It's just going to be more prolonged outage, just because we do have to test that in order to keep the linemen safe. I did not charge mileage this month. I know cash is really tight for the FEPSA meeting. I did use the fuel card to fill up my truck. I hope that's okay. Tell me if it's not. I won't do it again. But I figured in exchange for miles, I just did that. It's less than half the cost.
Well, you're using your car for,
Right.
your truck for
Yeah.
meter reading.
Meter.
So that's, I don't know how to do that, because
I don't,
that one is,
Stop, go, stop, go, stop.
it's really rough on a vehicle. And the mileage, I've done $20 worth of worth of meter reading, because it's not very many miles.
Yeah.
It's brutal on a truck. And so I'm not sure how to handle that.
Take your little bumblebee car and just binoculars, leave it running.
we do, you know what I learned? So Richard does binoculars, but my zoom on my phone is really good. And so I've been able to get some through that zooming method, but I had to get through the meters. They need to be read, get through them, and then we can figure out what.
Yeah, because it's not. Yeah, next.
And
Hopefully.
it better not. We'll be switching out smart meters
Well,
real quickly.
Yeah, I hate to say it, but it's
And that, yeah, it's coming to an end anyway at this point.
proves.
Yep.
Smart meters.
Yep.
Are beneficial for something.
We did think about renting a vehicle, but I mean, to rent a vehicle to do that is just, it's gonna cost us $1,000. It's not worth doing. Anyway, so just as a heads up, this was obviously before any of that happened, so it just didn't charge for the Webster meeting. It saves us $150. There will be no VEPSA meeting in July due to lots of different reasons. On the 22nd is an annual retreat for the general managers for VEPSA. It'll be at Stowe, so that was one of the reasons it got canceled, is we were meeting anyway. They pushed back the start time this year by half an hour, by an hour and a half. It usually starts at 8 o'clock in the morning. It's now 9:30, which is giving me enough time to get up there, so I don't need to do an overnight, which is nice. So just a heads up on that. And then reminder, the American Public Power Conference is June 28th through July 1st. So that's the one in Boston. So I will be out during that time, and that's before our next meeting. So again, anyone wants to help me pick out what I should attend, definitely feel free to stop by the office. I have, I think, 7 different things I'm already committed to, that I've been invited to. So we have quite a bit already planned. So happy to take others though.
Oh, okay.
What?
happy
It's not
to take
sessions.
others.
It's like lunches and dinners and things for VEPSA has commitments with essentially people we buy power from, people we so
But the
just
sessions.
for the sessions
have
haven't
you,
been selected.
but have you pinned down?
I have them pretty
A
well
few?
pinned down.
Okay.
Yeah. So I will pin them down, but I wanted to keep it open in case
Yep.
anybody, I mean, if within a week of the.
I
of the
read through it a
conference,
while ago when it first came out, and oh my God, there's too many choices.
There's a lot of, and there's like
choices.
8 sessions at any given time. So
Yeah.
there's a lot. Okay.
Right, so.
Water.
Old business, we have water payment.
Okay. So after our last meeting, I emailed April Perry offering to pay $85 a month. If you remember correctly, she wanted us to pay $130.
135.
135, something like that. I offered to pay $80 a month for the balance of 2026 so we can explore our options. And if the pump failed, that we would hire a plumber to do the repair ourselves. She did agree to this counter offer. So.
85, not 80. You said 80.
Oh, I'm sorry, 85. Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm actually really happy to have the idea that we can hire our own plumber. That was something I wanted to do last year, but now it's in writing. So I did speak with Frost Well Drilling. They said that we really need to start with an engineer. They just said it's too difficult for them to figure out what it would cost without the engineer first. So they did set up with Trinity Engineers, or they recommended we set up with Trinity Engineers. I have not had a chance to call Trinity. They did say there might be an option for us to not have to be a commercial well, because we can essentially say that our water source is failing, by that being a problem. And he said that might get us a little bit of reprieve on some of the requirements and not have to do a commercial well, which would be.
What's the difference between a commercial well and a residential well?
I think it's the depth and the casing.
Okay.
I think you have to have a certain gallons per minute on a commercial well.
Okay.
The winery had to get a commercial well. They have
Oh, really?
because of the brewery. When they did the brewery, they
Yeah.
needed higher water. So I don't know the specifics, but I know it's a lot more expensive. So there was some discussion last month about the tax sale. I think we could probably include that in the executive session later, if you're okay with that.
Yes,
Yes.
I don't know why I included that at that point.
so we wouldn't forget.
That's that.
It's too exciting.
All right. So that's the water.
And then
I hope you're okay with my executive decision to offer
And it
85.
was agreed.
I think it was agreed.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that
Uh,
seems more than fair. I think she has, they haven't increased it in,
Do we have anything in writing?
that's part of my goal by the end of the year is
Okay.
to get this. At least I have an email now.
Okay.
That says we have right.
Okay.
That at least says that we agree on it. Oh, look at that. I have a second one of those.
We have-
When
Thank
was
you.
that for, the agreement?
It's now through the end of 2026. So we'll have to figure out
Thank you.
something by January.
Now we have the sign rate case approval
Oh, hang on.
board resolution.
Sure.
I have it mixed up in my things here.
Pictures here.
Sorry. Resolution 2. Resolution 2.
Come on.
That's what you're looking for.
Oh, that's what we're, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like,
Oh, I
that's-
see.
That's
it.
nice.
Rate
James, that's
case
pretty.
was in
You
there
like it?
twice.
So yeah.
It
That's
was
fine.
in there twice.
Yes, it was in there twice. I'm sorry. I thought I got them all out.
There's some clips here somewhere.
So,
So I started doing this a little different. You can tell me if you hate it, but I started doing this as resolutions because technically we're voting on it, and that's really what we're doing is creating a
How was it
resolution.
used before?
They were just memos, and we just voted on the memo, but this is a little more official and cleaner. So essentially, these are just resolutions, and we would vote, and then the clerk would sign the resolution that
So we
we
just
that
need
authorized
to-
it, adopted it.
swipe my name out and.
Yeah. So what I can do is I can swipe, we can vote on it, and just make sure everybody's okay, and then I can switch it with Tyler and have Tyler swing by sometime and sign it, just certifying it.
That's fine.
So this is authorizing the electrical rate increases. As I said, this was already voted on and approved, but we just need to authorize it. The board of the village of Jacksonville, the board of trustees for the village of Jacksonville has reviewed the financial condition, and operational needs of the electrical utility, and whereas the Vermont Public Power Supply Authority Utility Financial Services and general manager evaluated the utility's revenue requirements and determined that a rate increase of approximately 17.72 is necessary to support the continued operation and financial stability of Jacksonville Electric Company. And whereas the proposed rate adjustment is intended to become effective on July 6, 2026. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Jacksonville hereby authorizes BEPSA, UFS, and the general manager to prepare and file a rate case with the Vermont Public Utility Commission seeking a rate increase to not to exceed 18% with a proposed effective date of July 6, 2026.
Yeah, so.
So that
Now
does
we
not,
need signatures now.
so the only thing we would need, the way I'm doing this, because it's already been voted, it would just be that the clerk certifies that this resolution passed.
Oh.
Verbal. So we don't need everybody's
No.
signature on it. It just needs to be certified. So there's nothing to do on that because we already voted.
This is approve and sign the audit finalization. Board
So this is where I actually saw this resolution idea was on the board, authorization of the audit. So that actually looked really good. So that's why this is number one, because it was the first one. Whereas the Village of Jacksonville Electric Company entered into an engagement with KBS to perform the audit of JEC's financial statements for the year ending December 31st, 2025. And whereas KBS completed its audit and presented to the Jacksonville Electric Board of Trustees its report.
Oh.
There's typo. should I say?
Which resolution are you on right now?
We're on 01.
And,
Oh,
Go back one, yeah.
there you go.
Including its unqualified opinion on JEC's 2025 financial statements. Whereas the Board of Trustees has reviewed and considered the audited financial statements and accompanying report. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Jacksonville Electric Company hereby accepts the report to the Board of Trustees and the 2025 audited financial statements as audited and presented by KBS. Again, that will be
Tyler.
and we technically have 3 members, but those 3 members did it through verbal agreement, so we do need a vote on that one.
That's when you came to the
So
house.
that's when
Yeah.
you signed and Kenny
Yeah.
signed and you signed. So that one we will need a vote
So we need a vote for this. Do
to
we have
pass
a,
this resolution
do we have a motion
as amended.
as
I'll make the
amended?
motion to accept the audit, approve,
Approve board
The audit
resolution
report.
2601. How about that?
yeah. Yep.
You
Yeah,
good with that?
that takes care of it. You don't have to read. the
That's
whole
my
thing.
hope, is that it simplifies everything.
I'll second.
Tyler's made a motion to approve board resolution 2026-01 as amended. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Are you guys liking these board resolutions or is it complicating it?
Liking them?
Like,
Liking
Oh,
them?
liking
Sorry,
them.
Mike.
I like it.
yes.
I think it just clears it up and it makes
Yeah,
it
it
easier
does.
to make a motion, that's for
It's
sure.
just a different cataloging.
Right. And what's cool is then I will create a folder that's all board resolutions.
Right.
So then we'll be able to reference all of them.
And that'll have record of the signatures as well.
It'll have record of the
Clerks.
clerk's signature that
Yeah.
got approved. Yep. This one, you good?
Yes,
Okay.
please.
This one's a resolution authorizing the general manager to execute the federal grid resiliency grant agreement. So this is the grant agreement for the tree trimming. This is 03.
03, we skipped 0. We are,
02 was the first one. We just did it out of order.
we went fast
We
backward.
went.
All right. All right, 003.
Sorry.
Okay.
This is me
Yeah,
getting
we're
rid.
in a public meeting. Please refrain from.
Wow. Wow.
I forgot.
She's bringing down the rules.
Yeah, that's good. Gotta be straightened out.
So this is the grid grant. This is the tree trimming grant that we've been talking about for
Oh, right, yeah.
3 months, whatever it is. Whereas the Village of Jacksonville Electric Company has applied for and been awarded funding through the Federal Grid Resiliency Grant Program to support investments in its electrical system, reliability, resilience, and infrastructure improvements. And whereas the participation in the grant program requires the execution of a grid agreement and related documents with the administered agency, us. And whereas the Board of Trustees finds the acceptance of grant funding and execution of the agreement is in the best interest of Jacksonville Electric and its customers. Now therefore be resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Jacksonville Electric Company hereby authorized and directs James Weber, General Manager, to execute the Federal Grid Resilience Grant Agreement and associated certification amendments, reimbursements, requests, reports, or other documents necessary to implement and administer the grant on behalf of the Jacksonville Electric Company. Be it further resolved that the general manager is authorized to take such additional actions as necessary and appropriate to carry out the purposes of this resolution and to ensure compliance with all applicable grant.
Adopted.
I'll make a motion that we approve board resolution 26-03.
I'll second that.
And this is the one, just as a side note, this is the one that the VEPSA attorneys are reviewing right now.
Yes.
Yep.
So that's why we can't just approve it because we're waiting on that.
We can't,
But when they do, you're all set to roll.
right?
Ooh. What was that? I'm sorry.
You said
That's it.
we
When
can't
they do
approve it.
approve it, you're all set to roll.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So, John made a motion, Jennifer seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Now we're moving on to new business.
Oh,
Did
yeah.
we do number 4?
It's under new business, so we're new business, which will include 4.
Okay.
Okay. So we have 2026 Vermont Transpo subscription purchase.
And apparently I did not change the name of this resolution, so I would need to.
Is this one that we
This-
talk about or go into executive
No,
session?
we can do this outside. of
This-
session.
Okay. Got it.
So this is the one I referenced in my manager's report. Essentially, this is our 2026 Vermont Transco subscription purchase. This is our ownership shares equity purchase for this year. VEPSA finances this for us. I looked it up. We have all the way back to 2009, I think, that we're currently paying on. So just every year we do this. Essentially, this is buying ownership in Velco. This is essentially their equity call. We match the equity call every year, and they in turn give us dividends back, and we pay for the equity call given the dividends at essentially 95%. And so that's how VEPSA, how we do it. And so that's why we get a check every quarter, I think it is, for about $1,200, something like that, from our dividends. That currently goes into our money market every month. So that's how we grow our money market. I'm sorry, every quarter, and that's how we grow our money market. So this is just essentially, this is our 2026 purchase, and this is a resolution authorizing me to sign the contract on that. The name is wrong. It says filing electric rate case. That is not true. It's authorizing general manager to purchase. I'd have to see how I need to word it, but authorizing me to purchase, to sign the contract to purchase Vermont Transco equity call.
So it says resolution authorizing, and we should
I
say,
just have to wordsmith it. I'm not sure exactly how we want to word it.
okay. But it's not gonna say filing of.
It'll probably be something like resolution authorizing general manager to sign
The transfer.
Vermont Transco subscription agreement for 2026. I'll read through that really quick. Whereas the Village of Jacksonville Electric Company and its is a member of Vermont Transco LLC and has the opportunity to subscribe to additional ownership units through the 2026 Vermont Transco subscription agreement. And whereas the participation of Vermont Transco provides JEC with the opportunity to receive benefits associated with the ownership in Vermont transmission system. And whereas the proposed 2026 subscription consists of 2,717 Class A units and 3,458 Class B units for the total subscription amount of $61,750. And whereas the Board of Trustees has reviewed the proposed subscription and finds it to be in the best interest of JEC and its ratepayers. Now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Jacksonville hereby approves the execution of the 2026 Vermont Transco subscription agreement for the purchase of, as stated above, units, a total cost of $61,750. Be it further resolved, the general manager has hereby the authority to direct and execute the 2026 Vermont Transco subscription agreement and any related documents necessary to complete the subscription on behalf of JEC.
Tyler gets to sign that one.
Tyler's got lots of signing to do.
Practice.
We need to make a motion, correct? Yes. Motion to approve board resolution 2026-04. I guess I just made the motion. Do we have a
I'll
second?
second
Thank you. All in favor, say aye.
it. Aye.
Aye.
I do have the agreement if anybody wants to read it. I do have physically here.
Now,
before we go into executive session, the BEPSA trustee conference ad.
Oh, yes, BEPSA trustee conference, which is at the end of,
I think
was added on.
do you have one of these in your packet? I think you do. It's the very last page.
Yes.
Okay.
No,
You good, Tyler?
No?
Yep.
Oh, you have the old packet still. Yeah.
You need, are you,
I thought that was the, no, it might have been the one that I.
It says water rate on it.
This was my
Oh.
4:30 this afternoon trying to get it on here. Sorry.
What is it for?
This is BEPSA PPPSA trustee conference.
yeah, it might be because it says water rate, but it should say something else.
Okay.
BEPSA conference.
It should say BEPSA trustee conference. This is for you guys, not me.
We get to go somewhere?
You have to go somewhere. And I
We're taking your trip.
gotta tell you, this may or may not be because of me that this is happening. Just, I think I was the one who proposed it.
Where is it?
That's to be determined.
Oh.
So essentially, 2 years ago, I went, this is crazy. We as the general manager, we go to these conferences, we hear all this stuff. But like when you hear Ken Nolan explain why electric rates are going up and why public power is so important and these kinds of things, he does such a great job of doing that. And it's really hard for us as general managers to try to relay that and to understand that there's more than just the trustees at this table that are all doing this and all having these same conversations. And so I suggested that we should probably do a conference where these trustees can get together and hear the VEPSA take and can talk about what's going on and understand that there are other utilities in the state of Vermont that are all going through the same conversations that we are. And so as part of that suggestion, it's been a slow process, but we're finally at a point where they are planning this conference for this fall. So they're planning an annual conference. They are looking for a few things to be provided to them, to VEPSA, to help with the event. They're looking for potential locations. They're looking for something in central Vermont, i.e. Montpelier. To be fair, I think Montpelier, when you include the Northeast Kingdom, is technically
It's a
central.
central.
It's pretty close.
It's 140 miles from Jackson.
It's a 2.5 hour drive.
By electric there.
Pretty much exactly. But they're looking at the Capitol Plaza, which we have done board retreats at before at the Capitol Plaza. It's a nice place. They're looking at is their preferred time? Is it evening? Is it weekday? Evening probably is not a good day timing, but weekend, just trying to get some sense of that. If somebody can give feedback on that. Any dates or events that we should avoid doing it at. Whether a program is about 4 hours is appropriate. We don't want to go too long. We want to make sure you guys, have adequate time to be able to converse and get home. Topics for speakers, if there's anything particular that you're interested in or finding out about, and then other suggestions that would encourage attendance to make it worthwhile. So if you have any ideas, definitely let me know so I can relay them. As I said, this is kind of my idea. I think would be really helpful to have at least a couple of the trustees attend. I would love to
Do we have
see
a
a couple.
deadline to give you our input?
I would say by the end of the week, maybe. They're going to move quick. They're going to move quickly on this. I know. No, it's definitely not going to be October. I think when he sent the email, I think he was anticipating September time range on doing the conference. So
There should be somebody there to talk just about abbreviations.
acronyms.
You got the list, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard there was a list that was going around. I like
Yeah.
that. So any ideas, definitely let me know. I do think it would be really awesome if, again, at least a couple of people go. I think, I was surprised when I went to BEPSA to see BEPSA. And what, I mean, BEPSA's impressive. There's 27 people who work for BEPSA. And it's an impressive organization.
Mhm.
And it's state, it's actually a state legislative appointed group. It's actually required by Vermont legislator to be the legislation to be there to help utilities. So it's
Are they
actually,
out of an office or are they all working at home?
no, they have an office. Yeah, in Waterbury. That's where I go up every once a month.
So it's very similar to regional commission.
Yeah. Yeah, probably bigger.
Mm.
But yeah, very similar. And actually,
Well, that's statewide
correct.
that they do.
Correct. Whereas
Regional or
it's
regional.
Wyndham.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, obviously all the other utilities are closer. We're the furthest. I get that. But if you're able to attend, obviously we don't know dates, but if there's any dates to tell them not to do, I'm more than happy to relay that as well.
I do have one more thing to bring to the board. I had a message sent to me last night. We had a village resident who was walking on one of our sidewalks and tripped and was taken to the ER. And I have not heard back. That's why I'm trying to charge my phone. It's not charging to see what the report is from the doctors about
Mhm.
what the condition of their fall was. It was a possible torn tendon, which we I said I would bring this to the board. There were two concerns. One was that when it was brought to the office for the office to have attention, the comment was to come to meetings. They're I think they weren't feeling heard, and it's difficult to come to meetings sometimes. So I said that I would, at least bring this to the board for them, knowing that they wouldn't be able to make it to tonight's meeting. So that was, one concern. And then the concern of the sidewalk was the other major concern. And sidewalks has always been my biggest I've been talking about sidewalks, and we've all been talking about sidewalks forever. I would like to make a suggestion. If we can get some of that marking paint that you have purchased, maybe mark some of these spots. And back in the day, Kenny and Bud would get together and they would literally patch. And I think we need to majorly hit at least two spots with
It's like
some
where a
concrete.
section would be uneven and triple.
Well, there is a
Up
on
yeah.
Mill Hill or Gates Pond, which is what it's called now. On the
North side of the road.
the north side of the road. There are definitely two spots that are pretty bad. So
And-
at the least, if that's what we can do, and I know sidewalks are really oh yeah, grant, that'd be great. Then you could just talk to Gretchen, the economic specialist for Wilmington, to know the burdens of trying to get a grant just to get sidewalks fixed.
Well, and quite frankly, without a match,
And without a
she told me if you don't have any money, you just won't get it.
Right.
Won't get it.
So, and I know that there is some conversations happening with the town of Whitingham and Wyndham Regional Commission and about a study that's being done for flood restoration or flood resilience.
And sidewalks have been some
inside-
up on that.
Yeah, so but that's down the road. So I don't know really how to remedy.
Well, when you said Bud and Kenny did repair, I think Kenny had experience in,
So I'm suggesting
Concrete.
Kenny stand, this is my suggestion, is Kenny stand by
And say how to do it.
stand
Feather
over.
it out.
He can, and I can bring my wheelbarrow and you can bring your hoe and we can get out there and we can just patch that thing. Serious. We can do it.
And I'm more than happy to help. I use the sidewalks probably almost more than anybody else, so I'm more than happy to help. It's tough.
If you do, but you don't go up. Do you go up?
Oh yeah, we go up
Yeah.
to the cemetery.
If you could like, just point
Yeah.
that out, yeah.
There are
Some pretty bad
3
ones.
locations.
Yeah.
And I think it's gotten worse with the paving because the paving it made the road
Oh, they
higher.
are right.
And now it's like,
They gotta do driveways to
yeah,
better
it's kind of weird now. It used to be there was more of a drop off, and so you could almost see where the drops were. And now it's
Yeah.
weird. I don't know
Also,
what's making it weird.
The plowing with the wings,
Yeah,
they
it just
never had
makes-
wings before.
Yeah,
It's
it's-
just,
yeah.
it's just.
Get the,
I mean, the reality is that we're never, unless we were to tax village residents, which I don't necessarily think we should. But unless we were to do a tax, we will never be able to use electric company funds to do anything major with sidewalks. The state just doesn't allow us to do it.
Do you think there's anybody on the board of selectmen that know anyone that has the concrete experience that would come and donate their time and get the boards
I
there to
know
feather
one
out?
person in particular who would be very good at it. I
To
don't
get it
know.
done for Old Home Week is what I mean. If you're saying that meeting was postponed till the 24th,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
So
It's just
what
saying-
happened after the flood? After Irene?
Your part was fixed.
Yeah,
Well, so this is what I know.
See, I didn't use the restroom.
Oh, okay. Is it okay?
I'm drinking water tonight.
Is it okay if I continue?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
absolutely.
So what I know, and this is, I believe from Kenny, is there were funds to fix some of the damage.
Hmm.
And I said to Kenny, I did ask him, like, what about that one? And I think it was the one right next to the store.
yeah.
They wouldn't cover it. FEMA wouldn't cover it. So it was all, whatever they thought was,
Yeah, so that was all FEMA money then?
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
but
Because-
if everybody, you got your thing from the Old Home Week, if you need help beautifying the front of your home or your
Mhm.
driveway or whatever, we'll try to help. But if there's somebody that would be willing to help us on the certain sections of sidewalk, especially if they're going to read all those banners names,
Yeah.
you can't do it when you're driving.
No,
No,
I,
it's too small.
yeah.
You'd have
So
to
maybe
do
there are some other people that are willing to donate time and certainly come up with
I'm more than happy to.
ways, help and guide us with.
Yeah.
They don't have to, be like 6-inch boards. We want to feather out the
You know,
dips.
there's Adam Bird. Just
Yeah.
I think he's tried to fix his parts of the sidewalk. So yeah, we can put out like a work party to work on sidewalks
Yeah.
and just see what happens.
We can do a work party for Town Hill. We could probably try to do a work
Yeah.
party. And expressing the fact that it is to go along and read the names on the banners or some of the historic buildings.
Yeah.
That are right on that hill.
Yep.
There's a lot of them.
Also on the corner, that's not too good there.
Sorry.
Up on where
The stop sign.
No,
112 and
Going from where the end of 112 is, the sidewalk on that side, back to Dix's house.
mhm, yeah, where, yeah, Lizzie lives.
Lizzie lives there, yeah. Lizzie lives in Dixie's house.
Yeah.
I live in the Bushnell's house
And I live in
for 53 years.
Stratner's house. so.
So maybe there's. some-
Bushnell's lived
some
there for
others
7.
that would help us.
So I would like to bring
I
the
love that
sidewalks back into our conversation.
idea.
Add it to our agenda,
I love it.
work with the town of Whitingham, see what the state can do, work with Wyndham Regional Commission.
Mhm.
I am a Wyndham Regional Commissioner,
Maybe.
but I'm not an active one. I have to admit that, but maybe this one will get me pretty.
So my understanding, I talked to Bud more about this. I'm more than happy as a resident to help. My
Yeah,
under-
tractor in a bucket.
Yeah, my understanding is as a general manager, I should not be spending time doing that
Right.
because it's electric rates that pay for my general manager stuff. So just I want to make sure that everyone knows that distinction. As I said, I use the sidewalks. I'm like the biggest proponent. I would suggest it, yeah, to be honest with you. It's just we need to make that distinction where we can, because Whitingham people can't pay for Jacksonville sidewalks.
Right. Okay,
I'm
so,
glad she reached out to you though.
Yes.
She reached out to me and I really didn't know what to say because again, I don't have the authority to say anything really.
okay,
And I also I can't do anything from a Jacksonville Electric perspective. And I'm also careful about sidewalks because I've been told not to say anything as us owning it. Don't be very clear about us owning sidewalks. Try to keep that kind of ambiguous.
well, okay. Kind of ruined that,
But
didn't you?
well, and quite honestly, the town of Whitingham, when they did the culvert project, put Jacksonville Electric on sidewalks right on them. So it's just I get nervous about liability.
Yeah.
There's a lot of problems with sidewalks and
Great.
Let's tear them up, go back to dirt paths.
Well, it has been suggested that we just turn it into pavement, but
well, I mean, I've said it to the select board multiple times that anything were to happen to Village of Jacksonville, they're going to go to Whitingham anyway.
right,
Like they're going to get inherited. Somebody's going to have to take them. So
right.
you might as well work with us to help fix them. Yeah, because they're going to be even
It's
worse
just like a
later
big
on.
lie, right?
So we could ask, and this is extending more than I.
Yeah.
But we could ask to be on a select board agenda.
Mhm.
So it's just a thought.
We
But I'm
should.
happy to get up, one
At least, yeah, let's at least get a work.
wheelbarrow and.
Let's maybe after the meeting, we'll figure out dates that
Okay.
might work, at least for us, so we can kind of put out a sidewalk work party.
Yeah, we know they're clean,
They are clean,
just not flat.
not very walkable. They look pretty, but they're not walkable.
Saccharine, something that would work in your bucket of your tractor and you mix it up, will it wash away after it's?
Yeah,
hard
I mean, this should go spray. You gotta spray it out quick, but I'm kind of wondering if Adam Bursma might have a spinner. Actually, Kenny probably has a spinner.
Yeah.
My brother has one.
There we go.
Oh yeah, that's true. Hey, would your brother be willing to help with this?
I can ask.
I bet Rachel and him would come down. That's right.
All right.
Okay, got that on there.
Thank you for listening to that. So now, next on the agenda is executive session. And I have a motion in my hand, so. I move that premature public knowledge on this content will clearly place the public body at a substantial disadvantage.
You gotta vote on that.
So,
So just to be clear, discussing executive session, water options, employee updates, Vermont Transco.
okay. So, I guess I moved, so I need a second. And Laura second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So do you have to shut the public off here?
We
Well-
will, but there's one more motion. So you make a motion to say that if this gets released, we all agree that this is gonna be premature and we really need to protect it. Once we all agree on that, then we can make a motion to use that to say,
Seriously?
we need to go to executive. This is the new thing.
Yeah, okay. So I move to enter executive session in accordance with one VSA 313(1)A and one VSA 313(3) to discuss a contract and employee evaluation to include James Weber, general manager. Do I have a second?
Second,
We got 2 seconds. You pick one. I say John.
He was first.
All in favor? Aye.
aye,
And recording.
All right.
8:17.
So